This is the Inside Data Center podcast. We talk to the people who power the data center sector to give you insider info on everything happening in DC today. Here's your host, Andy Davis.
Welcome to the Inside Data Center podcast. This is a special episode where we talk to some of the leaders, sponsors and students on the UTC Heathrow Digital Futures Programme, a programme that has been developed in the UK to specifically help manage the talent challenge that we all face in the industry today. I recently had the pleasure of spending a day at UTC to see the programme in action. I had the opportunity to spend time with a number of the leaders behind the programme, some of the sponsors of the programme, and also talk to some of the students studying to be the data centre engineers of the future. When I look back, what struck me most about my day at UTC was the passion of the leaders to give the students the best possible opportunity to be successful in whatever route they may choose. These programmes wouldn't exist without these individuals. The passion of the sponsors to give their time to help manage the ever-increasing talent gap in the sector. I can vouch to say that nothing is more rewarding than helping others on their journey. And the passion of the students who clearly love being part of the programme. They enjoy what they do and they want to make a difference. It is up to us to give them that opportunity. We really need to support programmes like this, and hopefully this podcast will help the future development of the programme and give more young people the opportunity to join us in the data centre sector, which I'm sure we'll all agree is an amazing place to work. The programme does need more sponsors, so any organisations listening that want to get involved, please get in touch with me and I will put you in contact with the right people. Enjoy the episode. It's been one of my favourite to record, and hopefully you will all see the passion behind the programme and learn a little bit more about UTC Heathrow and the Digital Futures Programme.
Now we're going to hear from some of the leadership team at UTC.
I'm Mike Halliday and I head up employer engagement at UTC Heathrow and our sister UTCs in the Activate Learning Education Trust. I'm specifically responsible for designing employer engagement programs, and the Digital Futures Programme is our new flagship programme that we've been working on for the last 2 years.
Which has been keeping you busy, as we know.
Very busy indeed, yes.
One thing I wanted to talk about was the importance of UTCs, because we've been chatting about it this morning, but they're a very important piece of the education puzzle, and I don't think many people know about them as well as they should. So do you want to give an overview of what a UTC is and why it's so important?
That's a great question. The University Technical College is a relatively new model that's been introduced into the UK education system in England by Lord Baker, who heads up the Baker Deering Trust. And this was in response to concerns from industry that polytechnics had been closed down, technical colleges had been closed down because of a perceived move into the services industry. An industry that required heavy-duty technical skills were not being supported by the existing educational system. So the UTC model was born, and the first UTCs opened in 2010 with a really rapid ramp up through to 2015. I'm very pleased to say we have 48 operational UTCs around England, all based in industrial communities that are supporting their local and regional employers. A key element of the UTC proposition, specifically for employers, is that we expect industry to become involved at an intrinsic level in the education of the students. This makes the students employable both because they have the technical skills that are needed in the world of work, and secondly, because they build the confidence and the skills to communicate with adults who, very importantly, are not their parents and are not teachers. They're real adults.
And we're obviously here to talk about, at UTC Heathrow, to talk about the Digital Futures Programme, something that came about a few years ago off the back of COVID and the like, and the sort of enhancement of digital infrastructure. But why is the Digital Futures Programme so important to the data centre sector?
We see the Digital Futures Programme as being the perfect proposition that, in its infancy, presented the data centre community with a catalyst to work collaboratively, to come together and to address the skills crisis that they've been facing. Each of these partners had historically been making attempts to engage with education and to try and forge their own skills pipelines, but ultimately they didn't individually have the scale or perhaps the direction needed to navigate the corridors of schools and colleges. So we provided the opportunity for these employers who are now trusted and incredibly valued partners to come together, to operate at scale, and to undertake an incredibly ambitious program launch. What we've seen from those partners in terms of the feedback that we receive have been, firstly, that they're overwhelmed with the quality of skills that are becoming available to them, that the promise of early entry into those employers and to their supply chains is a very, very real opportunity. But critically, what we're seeing is that within organisations that we're working with, they are starting to feel like the value of engaging with education is in itself very virtuous, and that every person, every employee, every representative of our partners leaves the school feeling like they've done something good, they've paid it forward. It's a very virtuous, rewarding feeling, and actually, if for no other reason, this is a great way for a partner to become and remain an employer of choice, to provide their staff, their key team members with something that is very, very pure and altruistic. And it's a great opportunity to give something back to the communities in which you operate. Is very much about how the DC operators and particularly their supply chain are being encouraged to fulfill specific ESG criteria, and we might use different phrases such as community engagement or social value, but collectively these phrases can be very easily satisfied by working as a partner for the Digital Futures programme. We have built a lot of experience and lessons learned over the last 2 or 3 years in how to best help our partners to engage effectively, efficiently, and to achieve the impact that they want to achieve.
Ian Wilkins, Vice Principal. I'm in charge of engineering in Key Stage 5. Yeah, other schools won't have our level of employer engagement. The programme we've developed uses the employers as educators, as teachers. They come into the classroom and they deliver content. They've helped us plan the course. We've looked at the units that we deliver and we've made sure that the units we now teach are useful for the employer partners. About what makes the school unique as a UTC, it is the engagement of the students. So a lot of our students will travel a long distance to get here. They choose to come to the school in the sixth form because that's what they're interested in doing. They make an educated decision about what they want for their future. As a school, as a UTC, we are able to offer something that's quite unique. There's not another school close to us that offers the similar sorts of support and programming that we deliver. I am often asked about what is the best thing about the school, and I know I meant to say the employer engagement, and it is, but I do sincerely think it's the students that we have at the school. They absolutely make the biggest difference to what we as teachers get in the classroom.
I think one thing I've noticed from speaking to the kids is the passion they have for what they do. Do you think that is as a result of the way you educate them, or is it that like you said, the engagement level is so high that you've created that passion?
I think when a lot of the students join us in Year 12, they don't really know what engineering is about. So with the employers coming in, it does really educate the students. They can open their eyes, they can see what engineering is really like. They come to the school because they're interested in engineering. They leave with a better understanding and knowledge about what engineering is really like. Again, I'm not so sure how PC it is, but our kids are super nerdy. They are really interested in the specifics of whatever it is in terms of their engineering they want to do. So they'll come to the school with the idea that they want to leave with the professional qualifications that we offer. And the work that they do with the employers, the support and the engagement, the opportunities in the workshops, the work experience, the trips, the visits, all of that engagement.
And the importance of the employer engagement, like you say, why is that so important to you as a UTC?
Well, we have to think about what's different about us, why we exist as a school, as a UTC, and it is about getting our students future ready. So whether they want to go to university or whether they want to go to an apprenticeship, the real life work they do with the employer partners brings into focus for them what the world is really like.
And from a rewarding piece, I've asked a few people, but I can imagine that it's a very rewarding job for you and really rewarding when you see these kids kind of go on that journey and then enter the workforce or head on a different journey after they've been here.
I love it. Yeah, I do. I love it. Obviously, we have results day, but the joy of the BTEC is quite often we really know what the students are going to get before results day because they're working on assignments or they're working on exams that they've taken before the final assessments. So yeah, I love seeing. I love my spreadsheets. I love seeing the results coming in, and I love hearing about the stories when the students come in on results day, and we hear about the destinations and the amazing places the students have got. And I like to hear about our alumni when they come back and they tell us what their journey has been after they've finished at university or whatever it is that they go off to do. Yeah, I mean, that is why I'm a teacher. I love it.
My name is Candace Kumi and I am the Regional Coordinator at Activate Learning Education Trust.
I always think with education we focus a lot on the programme and the course and we don't actually hear from the people that are in it and doing it and what they get out of it. And when I was interviewing those earlier, and you can tell that they've got more confident just from being here, and I think that's a really good. If I was a sponsor, I'd be looking at that as much as the data centre industry.
For certain students, I've seen their growth from starting in year 10, now in year 13, and I've seen how confident they've gotten, and I truly believe that a big part of that is because not only are they interacting with their teachers and their peers, is because they're interacting with people that are outside of that community, outside of their family community. It's actually people that they aspire to be, because we say sixth formers come here with the idea that they want to either be an engineer or work in IT in some form, but they never really grasp like what that fully means. So when we have like the employers come in and they're having these sometimes informal chats or informal workshops, building that sort of relationships, they have the confidence to come to me like, oh miss, like I really want to learn more about something so minor that I think it's minor, like project management, but they never would have heard that in a normal school setting, those two like words as a career, project management. And I think it really allows those little drops of like knowledge from the employers to allow them to do like full-on research when they get home, especially in times when they are not really thinking about, you know, what they want to do for the future. A big part of our Key Stage 5 group of students, they intend to go to universities. What's happened since the programme has started is that number of students that want to go to universities has slightly reduced, and now students are now wanting to do apprenticeships. With this programme as well, we've gotten employers that possibly didn't have apprenticeship schemes started when the programme first started. Now we have at least like 3 of those employers doing apprenticeship schemes, and I know for a fact, like our last year 13 lot, they applied for some of these apprenticeships and were successful in doing it. And right now, as we speak, they're probably at work in a data centre. That probably would not have happened maybe 5 years ago.
Whenever I talk to you, I just think you're so passionate about what you do. So why do you have that drive and that passion to make this a success it has been?
The drive really is like watching the students. It's kind of watching the students go from really not interested to being actually, oh my gosh, this is very important and I need to know this, and oh, I need to ask these questions. We have a variety of different age groups in the school, and when I work with an employer that they're about to work with for a specific age group, I try to make sure that employer knows what maybe to expect. So with the younger kids, they're here because they have to be here, because it's school. With the older kids, somewhat the same, but they have that drive. So I think I'm passionate because I see the development. I've seen students that I've known even when I first started at the school. We both started at the same time, them as a student, me as a staff. And now I've seen that they are now, studying like a really good degree apprenticeship at university. I've seen now like building a relationship with students. Like, yes, it's a student-staff relationship, but at the same time, like, I'm happy that they feel comfortable to come to me and like, Miss, I really want to get into this. Are you able to help me? Something very simple as like, Miss, can you help me with my personal statement application? Like, I'm not a teacher, so the fact that they can come to me means like the world to me, because normally they would go to the teachers have the knowledge. I'm just someone that like coordinates this project, but they see me as like some form of light of knowledge. I don't know why, but I'm here to help them, and that's what's important to me. Like, I don't really care for results. I care for like as school we have like these learning philosophies, which is brain, emotions, motivation, and we say like these are like the 3 pillars of like your life and how your decision makings are. And we try to drill this into them. And at the end, as long as they're leaving this school with understanding, being respectful, being professional, being resilient, all these, using their brain and being motivated, I'm happy.
My name is Engineer Jama. I was originally electrical engineer and then computer system engineering, both hardware and software. But I've been trained as well as a qualified maths teacher. Currently, I work as a maths and engineering teacher in UTC Heathrow, mainly this term engineering, electric and electronic engineering. The units I teach, there are some assignments that need a practical element. So employer engagement is very important for me as a teacher, because the technical part, sometimes you don't have experience what type of equipment in the market. And then the employer input is normally we have before starting the assignment meeting, and I explain the specification of the unit and what the student has to do in order to get pass, merit, and distinction. And then they will give us information about in the market which equipment is cheap in order to achieve the student all of that. Because it's not a good idea to buy a very expensive equipment. They will tell you which equipment is cheaper in order to do the job, and which equipment will help the student in the market when they go and they can see and they can practice as well. So it's very important for me as a teacher. So I will have an input from them about the practical part of the element of the assignment. For example, there are assignment to Unit 16, electrical 3-phase electrical installation. So there are 2 different assignments. Both of them, they come and they deliver that part of the practical. The student as well, they will benefit from the employer, because they will learn different skills. For example, what is the requirement as a student to go to the real world and work, teamwork. So the practical, they work as a team first, listening skills, what they learn, because they will listen to instructions and they have to do the instruction that they get from the employer. Then the other thing that they will learn from, benefit from the student is another person who's not their teacher will come outside. So they would know that what they are learning is useful in the real world instead of the theoretical. The employers as well, they will benefit because they will learn the student who has a good skills, who can be potential future apprenticeships who they can offer. And some students, our good students, they already offered some of the apprenticeship that exists. And as an engineer, we learn the theoretical, but to go and learn the actual practical thing, you have to go and work somewhere. And sometimes the technology changes very fast. What you are learning right now is not equal that yesterday. No, it's not equal today. So they will really give a lot of good input.
I had the pleasure of speaking with some of the students at UTC who are going to share their story about their journey within this programme.
Hi, my name is Hussein, and I chose to study at this school because I found that when coming to the open day, they showed that they have a lot of partner connections, and through those partner connections, I've been able to develop a lot of experience and build my knowledge on engineering and the fields in which I'm going to work in. And I found that to be really helpful because it helps me to pave a path for my future and understand what I really want to do.
Hi, my name is Amapri. I chose to come to UTC Heathrow because it was the closest engineering school in my area, and they had a lot of employers, so I could understand where I wanted to go in the future and which engineering field I wanted to go into.
What is the best aspect of studying at UTC?
The best aspect of studying at this school is probably the size, because it's a smaller school than most, you really feel you have a deeper connection with both the employers when you meet them and the teachers when you see them every single day. And in terms of classwork, homework, you really feel like if you need support, it is there, because teachers just have to juggle less students and you get more of their attention than I feel you do in other schools.
The best part about the school is the engineering department, where you can build different things related to engineering. So downstairs we have engines we can work on in year 13, which is good for me because I want to go into mechanical. So it will help me understand the aspects of mechanical engineering, which I want to go in the future.
What are your plans for when you leave UTC?
My plans for when I leave the school is either an apprenticeship or degree apprenticeship, or just getting a degree in university. Currently unsure because obviously the apprenticeship path is very competitive, and to get an apprenticeship that's worth my time is obviously a bit of a challenge.
In the future, I want to study mechanical or aerospace at university, but at the moment I'm not sure which universities are the best for the courses, because most universities they teach you multiple courses which other universities may not teach. So the hard part is finding which university suits me.
Why is this different to being in a normal school, for want of a better way of putting it, standard education? Why is a UTC important?
This UTC is important for my curriculum because we don't just have regular lessons where you sit down with a teacher and you talk to them and they tell you information. Currently today, we have workshops with one of our employers that has come in and is doing a workshop on teamwork, which is not something that you get often in other schools. And I feel like along with actual academic content, I feel like things that are important for social and professional team building and life in general are really helpful, because there is a lot more to life and work than just the content.
UTC Heathrow is good because the school focus all their resources onto engineering and engineering only, so they can put all their funds into finding the best courses, the best employers to help us.
So my name is Joshua Zaka. I've been here since year 10, and I came to the UTC not really out of personal interest. It was actually because of my parents. So they wanted me to come, and at the time when I first came, I didn't feel all too happy about going here, But then after a period of time, I realized that very good opportunity. Why should I not continue to be here? And ever since, I've enjoyed my time here.
I'm Alex Kelty, and I decided to come to this school because my friends told me that it offered an engineering department here, and I found out that it was quite useful because they do offer quite a lot of opportunities to go and actually visit the data centre world, and it actually opens up quite a lot of doors.
What's the best aspect of studying at UTC?
I would definitely say that it's the community, the group of friends that you can make, and the teaching system here is remarkable. Like, I came from a school where I was working under intense pressure, and here in this school there is not that much pressure. It's simply you have your own freedom to do what you want to do, and as you're doing what you want to do, they reward you, and it sort of builds up this sort of confidence that you want to continue to do well.
Do you think it's helped you outside of school as well?
100%. Like, they provide opportunities where we are allowed to go on trips, and while we go on these trips, we are like given the availability to speak. So, for example, I have been on a trip where I did have the privilege of speaking in front of many people in the tech industry, and I feel that it was a genuinely great experience, and it really built my confidence to speak in front of other people, since I'm not the one who likes to open myself up to too much conversation. But ever since then, I felt very sort of easy to sort of open up and have a conversation with other people.
I'd say the freedom we have here, we're not controlled by them, or like by the teaching department, but we're let to. We can actually think for ourselves here, rather than feeling like we can't actually express ourselves. So I like the community as well. You can interact with the teachers like they're peers, but there's still that barrier. But I've become more independent here, and I've incorporated that in my own life as well.
So what are your plans for when you leave UTC?
So I'm a massive fan of computer science, so I definitely want to work in that sort of industry. I've been on, as I said, many trips where they involve us in a few sort of technical things, and I would really want to work in a data center. So working as either a technician, and then if possible working my way up and potentially managing the whole body. So I would really be interested in that sort of field.
For me, I'd like to do an apprenticeship. I don't know what in as of yet, but I think I would probably go into data centers or something along the lines of becoming a site manager. I've got my eyes on that.
Did you have any idea what a data center is before you
Not
came?
before, no. I didn't know how data was stored, managed, or I know it sounds silly, but I didn't know about it. And then we got the chance to go on more trips to experience what the how everything worked, how everything looked like. I did enjoy that though, because now I know how everything functions.
Does the industry excite you?
It does excite me. I have my doubts, but I think it is a great opportunity for me, especially at such a young age, being able to start in a business such as a data center. So
it's not something that particularly interests people until they realize this is the things that all of your data is being controlled by. Because as a friend said, it's not something that you really understand until you go into one and realize that, oh yeah, my Snapchat, a notification that just popped up, it came through here. Without that, how would I be able to get that? So it's surprisingly very important, and you don't really understand how necessary it is until you step into one and realize the small little niches around all of it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do like it a lot.
My name's Ilkay, and I chose UTC due to the engineering opportunities which they offer. Also, they have a connection with the employers. It's a very good opportunity for people who are looking to do apprenticeships.
And what do you think is different about studying at UTC to studying in other forms of education?
Well, most importantly, because of the number of people in the class, and there's more connection between the teachers and the students compared to other schools, where you have over 1,000 people, and you don't get that connection that you would get in the UTC.
When you joined this program, did you know what a data center was?
To be honest, no, I didn't.
And what would you look to do when you finish at the UTC?
I'm probably trying to get into flight school and do an ATPL course.
Now we're going to hear from some of the partners of the programme who were delivering activities on the day I attended.
Russell Merry, Programme Manager for Virtus, look after a team of project managers.
And you've been running the workshop today. I just thought it'd be good to get your insights to how that's gone down. Do you want to explain what you've been doing and how it's gone down with the students?
Yeah, so running a workshop with 2 different groups. So we had one this morning and then one this afternoon. Initiative really is to get them thinking about teamwork and collaboration. So we had a practical workshop where they had to build out of paper and blue tack and sticky tape. So they essentially had to build a tower. So we ran a competition and said, well, who can build the tallest tower? The one that we actually just had this afternoon, it went all up to the ceiling. So that was quite impressive. So they actually smashed it out of the park on that occasion. So yeah, well done to them. And then the other part of it is to go through the types of different skills, essentially linked to teams and what's common amongst teams and what success looks like and what failure looks like. Some of the reasons, for why that might be impactful. And then looking at the future and trying to talk to them about data centres and the various teams within data centres and get them interested really and aware as to what we do and why we do it and why it's important.
And obviously, I heard you talking over lunch about why you volunteered to do this. Why do you think it's important that people like yourself get involved with programmes like this?
Raise awareness and give opportunities to the kids, really. Because I think data centres, have potentially got a bit of a reputation, as kind of being a bit secretive and a bit closed off. And I think initiatives like this are great because it raises the awareness, and it should be a win-win scenario, between the industry trying to get more resources in through the door, more competent technical people. And then also for the kids that are coming through, for those job opportunities to present themselves so that they actually know what's out there and what's available to them. So yeah, that's the idea.
And Virtus as a company, why is it important for you guys to be involved?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges that we've got in the industry as a whole, as I mentioned earlier, is about resources and where the new guys are coming from. So we've got an ageing sort of population. A lot of engineers in the industry, are coming up to retirement age. And I think there's some new people coming through from what I've seen, sort of new starters like 20-year-olds and so on. But actually there is a big gap. And because data centres are increasing exponentially, seemingly in their sort of growth targets, we're going to need more and more and more people very, very quickly. So the more initiatives like this that we can get, then everybody should benefit.
And the students you've been with today, what's been the engagement like? Do you think these are the future of our industry?
Yeah, it's been really, really good. Yeah, I think the icebreaker that we did at the start was really beneficial. It got everybody thinking about things. It got everybody collaborating. It was a physical activity as well, so people actually got out of their chairs, to build the towers. And then once they've then built that rapport, and then you've got that rapport with the kids, then it's actually a lot easier to then try and talk around the subjects, because you've got the buy-in. So yeah, no, really positive.
Yeah, and from the conversations I've had with some of the students as well, what's impressed me is their passion about how they really want to start a career in engineering.
Yeah, so that's the idea, is to try and link the practical skills, to the careers of the future. So one of the other things that we touched on with them is the entry into the industry in the first place and the various kind of avenues that you can go through. So I talked about my own personal journey into the data centre space. Similarly, my colleague Arthur, he's a DCM, so he was talking about his journey and how different those two journeys kind of are, and then you end up in the same space, yeah, sort of working together as part of the same team. So.
And do you think overall that the sector still has a challenge with perception, people understanding the importance of what this industry does and how, well, I guess you're an example as well of how it's such a great career if you do get into it at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think the more awareness that people have as to what data centres do and what their purpose and their function is, then the better for everybody. So yeah, I agree. There's a lot of common misconceptions about what data centres are and how they function and what goes on in them, behind the doors, security fences and so on.
My name's Erica Hooper. I'm PR and Communications Executive at CNET Training. CNET Training is one of the founding partners of the UTC Heathrow initiative, driven greatly by our CEO, Andrew Stevens, just determination to leave a legacy to the industry across forging career pathways into the industry, bringing the overall skill level in the industry as high as we possibly can, and making the industry sustainable for the future, because as we all know, the demands are just growing and growing. So this is really his, I guess, a kind of brainchild that he's had on the go for a long time, been trying to get up and running with a lot of different people and a lot of different avenues. And working with Alet has managed to get this off the ground and get lots of other people involved, which is great, but we need more people to be involved.
And on that, why, from your experience being here and being part of the programme, why should other people get involved in this education programme?
So I don't know how the other industry partners do it, but Andrew got us all into a room and regularly does, and likes to say to everybody, you know, go down there, get involved, take a day out of your week whenever you can. You know, it can be part of your job. You know, it's part of a passion if you want it to be, but go down and, you know, take part. And really try and help these students have more opportunities to just know what we do in the industry and what opportunities there are. And I don't know what the percentage is across the business, but I would say at least half of us have been here at one point to either come to an open day, help deliver a workshop, you know, do a challenge day. We'll come, we'll help out, we'll do, you know, whatever we can to just raise the overall awareness. But the satisfaction personally of coming down and getting involved, you know, this is only actually my second time of coming to UTC Heathrow, but I've seen the same kids and I've seen them at Data Centre World, and I know a bit about their backgrounds now, and having the satisfaction of seeing them progress as they go through their, you know, their program of you know, studying the digital futures and where they're going to go next. I find that really exciting to know and to think, oh, I wonder what they're going to do at the end of, you know, the end of July when they have to come to make that decision. And for us, you know, it is all about making those opportunities and making the awareness of them so much greater than it is currently. And especially with, you know, apprenticeships, we're trying to also now look what's beyond UTC, because we're coming to the stage where our first cohort of people is, you know, is going to graduate, if you like, from the Digital Futures programme. So what is beyond that, and what's next for those kids? So it's very much a journey for us as much as it is for them.